32.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Sewer Commission for the Town of Darien, regular meeting, Tuesday, January 7th, 2020. Happy New Year. 4:30, very exciting. 4:32 p.m., room 206 at Town Hall. We're going to call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from December 3rd. I think I read.
I didn't find anything, but doesn't mean there's nothing there.
Yeah, I went through it. If you want to take a minute, take a minute.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Tiny grammatical change,
I'm sure your name is misspelled there somewhere.
which I will hand in. I didn't see
I
that.
know,
No,
got
no.
it. Got it right.
He looks good.
You'll hand in your,
Yeah, my little
Minutes.
grammatical.
okay?
Just gonna give it to me?
Just gonna hand- This is how,
I'm okay in public.
No, nothing substantial.
Oh, okay.
not worth bringing up. Hand it over.
Scribner's.
Okay.
error. A motion on the minutes.
I'll move it.
A second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Move to approve the December 3rd minutes.
recent
All those in
stuff.
favor? Minutes approved. Item number 3, 64 Old Kings Highway South Sewer Connection Fee. Does this go along with this item?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
At a previous meeting, the commission said, take everybody who connects to the Westmere Sewer and divide that into $25,000, because that was the number that the town was willing to pay Westmere to connect the Brushy Hill Sewer. We came back to the commission and said, never mind, Ms. O'Brien got some high prices. She's not going to do it anyway. And so the commission deferred the decision. Ms. O'Brien has since come back and said, no, I didn't mean that. I'm very interested. Please get a price. So we're looking for a formal motion to decide. I laid out a number of scenarios for the commission consideration.
Well, when we
I could have swore
offered,
we voted on a price.
No, she came
We
back.
we voted on a method.
Yeah.
We voted on the method, and I came back to you and I
Okay.
said, because there were so many people connected to the Westmere Sewer, there's a bunch of different ways to slice up the salami. I wanted
Well,
to give you guys another shot at it.
My thinking, when we talked about this a couple of months ago, was the town was doing a project for Brushy Hill and Andrews Drive. And that's when we determined that the one connection of 25 was an equitable amount. And so I was imagining that we would divide the 25 by everything in that lower gray area. Is that
So that's
faulty logic?
$1,000. 25,000 divided by 25.
It's a good thing I got you here for the math. And but you have a bunch of other options, and so was there a reason you created these other options?
There is.
Okay.
If you look at the pink area is the Westmere subdivision itself,
Yep,
which is 7 lots.
yep,
In addition to that, there's a little square pink area, and that's Louise and Quentin Hyder, who Westmere connected to their sewer. It wasn't a part of their subdivision,
Yeah.
but they are connected to the Westmere subdivision through the Westmere subdivision by Westmere.
yep.
That makes it 8. Now, the blue area right up to the left is the Kelly sewer. Why does that matter? Because Westmere was directed to replace the Kelly sewer in its entirety. So technically, the blue area is also part of the Westmere area, and add another 8 residents.
And did they do that?
Yes, they did.
Okay,
Okay, now, the other gray area to the right is the Hammernick line. That's one that I would recommend you discount. And if you discount anything, discount that one, because those 6 possible connections were installed when the Kelly line, when the Kelly line existed. And so all Westmere did when they replaced the Kelly line was reconnect the Hammernick line. Hammernick didn't come after.
Would that be one more connection then, maybe? The Hammernick line being one?
You could say it's one more connection. You could. So if you do that, you have Westmere and Hyder is 8, Kelly is 8, that's 16, Hammernick would be 17, Brushy Hill 25. So if you do all that, you come out with a very, the number obviously gets smaller and
Yeah,
smaller.
remind me if you remember, what the town of Darien paid for the enjoyment of ownership of the Westmere sewers?
You're speaking specifically of the settlement?
Yeah,
Okay, 750, 8?
no.
They wanted 750 or 8, and then we paid 170?
173.
170, okay.
173,000.
And if you wouldn't mind reminding me where the property in question is located? Was it 64?
Oh,
Old Kings?
you see where
Is that one?
Andrews Drive meets Old Kings Highway South?
Yes,
They are directly between Old Kings Highway South and the highway.
that
They
one
are
right across the street, the little triangle.
Directly right across the
Yeah.
street.
Okay.
If you're on Andrews
That
Drive,
one
you'd
there.
run straight into the house if you kept going across Old Kings Highway
look-
South.
That one there.
Between the A and the turnpike.
So,
So Darren, what do we come up with add +1 on the Hammernick and add up all the others? Is it 26, 25? What?
25. Well,
It becomes
This is
595,
20.
23,
yeah, if you included Hammernick,
if you do the math.
You know,
it would be $532. If you included Brushy Hill, Westmere, and the Kelly line that Westmere replaced, you end up with $610. And if you include simply the red and the blue, which is Westmere proper, Westmere and the sewer that Westmere replaced, that's the 1563 number.
yeah. I'm still going back to my initial thinking was, at a point in time, the town of Darien itself felt that although it was one connection for 25 properties, that $25,000 was an equitable amount to pay. And that represented a connection fee of $1,000 per property. Is my thinking.
Okay.
Look, we could skin this cat 100 different ways, unfortunately, until
Yes.
we have connection fees established. So I don't know, unless anyone sees something, unless you see something different in these numbers that says that's not an equitable solution, or.
I think that's an equitable
I
solution.
think that's fair.
Extremely
Sounds good to me.
subjective,
Yeah.
don't have an
Yes.
opinion, whatever you guys say. One other thing for your consideration, Ms. O'Brien is here tonight. She may consider selling her house, and she has asked the question that,
Well, if we establish this fee, this will be the fee.
would this carry in perpetuity for, let's say you'd make a decision tonight, would this carry for the future owner? So Throw that out there as
That's
well.
I
great.
think it should, because it's
Well-
a methodology that.
Well, except that if we choose to establish
A new-
global connection fees to existing sewers, then that could potentially supersede our decision,
we
and I
do
think it
that?
Can this
should.
be grandfathered?
You do whatever you want.
We're trying to establish connection fees so we don't have all these funny situations, but,
Right, but we have it right now,
Yeah,
and
And we don't have the connection fees.
well, the decision stands until we make a different decision. That's the way I
I
would say
mean,
it.
my opinion would be that, I mean, I don't think it's gonna change astronomically if we were to make connection fees, so I don't think it's unreasonable for us to say that it stays in place until we establish it.
Well, but then there's other folks that might avail themselves of connections in this neighborhood. And so what's the decision for them?
so what we're gonna establish
All
is a
depends
minimum
on
connection.
when you,
Yeah.
Why don't we just accept that this will be the connection fee up until such time that a universal connection fee is acceptable?
Yes.
Or
no,
not?
I just said.
All right, there you
Yeah, I
go.
agree. I agree. Okay, then
I'll
we'll
make-
buy it.
I'll make a motion to that, $1,000, Craig, is where you're at. I'll make a motion that we accept the connection fee of $1,000.
No?
That we make a motion that we accept a fee of $1,000 to connect this property at this time, subject to the commission deciding on a universal connection fee in future.
No second on the motion?
I'll second
Any discussion on the motion? You okay with that, gentlemen? Before I ask for a vote? Asking for a vote, all those in favor? Aye, opposed? None, abstains, none. All right, item number 3 is dispensed. Thank you very much.
Okay.
264 Norotan Avenue Sewer Connection Permit, Mr. Perone.
That's me. I'm not Mr.
Actu-
Brown, I'm actually Adrian Dognan.
What's your name?
Adrian Dognan?
Adrian
Of the contract.
Dognan, Mr. Dognan is the contractor who did the installation of Mr. Perone is the owner.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just do a quick intro, if you don't mind.
Please.
Short story is, the sewer was disconnected, a reconnection was made without a permit, without an inspection. Somehow it slipped through the cracks, the CO was issued, we weren't able to hold up the CO. Very similar to another project that you folks adjudicated not too long ago. But we thought it best to put it before the commission, even though we think we know which way you're gonna go.
Do we have any recommendations on how to resolve the,
Well, based on the commission's previous action on another,
Christie Hill?
yes, Greenleaf and Christie Hill, the commission decided to require an internal inspection of the pipe, also a radio location of the pipe, which would allow the contractor to do a proper as-built drawing as required by permit, and of course, before doing any of this work, to pull the permit itself.
you have anything else to add?
I just have some pictures, I don't know if that matters or anything.
We'll take a look at them.
We didn't have the pictures,
No, I know.
maybe they're good enough for you guys, I don't know.
Tony called me, 3 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
said, hey, nothing, you forgot about this. Okay. I said, I'll look and see to my phone if I have some photos. We didn't talk to each other, I got a letter saying, come to this meeting. I called him and said, what he said, bring your photos, and that's all he told me.
Sure.
I mentioned it to the homeowner was like, yeah, we gotta pay a fee, a permit.
Yeah.
He kind of agrees with the idea of looking, doing an internal inspection if you want. Because obviously you'll see down that thing, there's a clean out straight down it. Part of that is under a porch. It's a front porch that protrudes out 6 feet. So that was hooked up by the plumber, just so you know.
Okay.
And then I actually backfilled it with sand. It's a year ago exactly, about this, I had my timestamp, January something like that was done.
Okay.
So it's about a year ago.
Okay.
And then I put caution tape over, and then the gentleman doing the porch backfilled it.
Okay. So why don't you let everybody see these and get them back to Darren, too? It's a little bit different. Christie Hill was
Yeah.
20 years old,
Yeah.
15 years
You can
old.
actually see this one.
So we have the person that was involved in the installation, we have pictures, we have a description of how it was done. So I think the facts here are a bit different than Christie Hill.
Darren,
Yeah.
Anthony,
But we-
Those pictures aren't much more than Tony would have gone out and looked at anyway.
Yeah, but Tony drops a level on
Yeah,
it,
Yeah, but do you want
Oh, it
to,
does.
checks the slope and stuff like
do
that.
we want to supersede that with continuity?
I'm with you, yeah.
I would
What's your motion, Bob?
say that we need to stay with what we did on Christie Hill.
Okay, so you're gonna make a motion?
The internal cameraing and the radiograph positioning of the as-built.
Okay.
What does that mean on curiosity of the radio? I don't
Uh,
understand that.
The metal detector while there's a piece of metal in the pipe. So
Understood.
spray painted and then located.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
automatic.
Yep.
I mean, I have a pretty good sense where it is, but yeah.
Yeah, you can probably position it pretty well based on that.
Yeah.
You might be able to dig down and hit it.
Well,
It's about-
that's 4 feet down,
That's
released,
pretty
right?
far down, and like I said, the first 6 feet of it is covered by a porch, so probably about to here there's a porch, and then the actual connection is another,
Yeah.
I would say another 5 feet beyond.
So we have a motion on the floor?
You can
Yes,
keep
sir?
it. They're on my phone.
Just, what was the motion? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure.
Well, it's-
To get a video inspection of the interior of the pipe, and to have the location of the lateral connection indicated on an as-built.
And I think the third step we did at Christie was we pulled the. had them pull
Yeah, have pull
Yes,
permit,
I'm-
make sure
I'm
all
sorry, I
the
forgot about
that.
the
Make sure they have all the-
information's there.
And submit an as-built drawing.
Yep.
So for me, some point go get the permit pulled.
Yep.
Do I hire someone to do that?
Yeah.
Or is it something the town gets involved in?
No, you have to hire a private
Okay.
company to do the scoping.
Okay.
Yep.
Send a plumber to us, and if you don't know somebody who does radio tracking, this has happened before.
Understood.
Okay, so we could show you, give you some names without recommendation.
So I should reach out to Tony at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
What's that?
Okay.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second on the
I'll
motion?
second that.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on the motion?
Okay.
All those in favor? Okay, 4-0-0.
Susan, first and second.
Thank you, sir.
Who made the motion? I think Bob made the motion.
Bob
Yes.
made the motion,
First.
Reese seconded the motion.
I second.
First, second, thank you.
I interpreted the motion.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Anthony, a call, and
I
we'll
just
help you
said
out.
continuity.
Thank you, guys.
You knew where I was going.
That's right.
All right, so now we're on to the section of our agenda covering sewer use fee appeals, item 5. We're going to start out, looks like we have 8 or 9 to work through tonight, with 26 Red Rose Circle. Do we have a Ronald J. Thomas in the house? Sir, please come to the dais and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time and review, and your community service is very important to the town.
Of the people, by the people, for the people.
Yes, very good. And this concerns 50%, almost 50% increase in the sewer bill. We hooked up about 12 years ago, and that's why I'm here. I don't know if you have my November 20th letter.
We do.
Yes.
Make some points about, it's only a half an acre, normal-sized lawn. The irrigation system is maintained. It's opened by them every spring, and it's shut down by them. And we had a number of leaks last year, which totaled about $750, and there's one to be repaired this spring. So we got a little bit of a high bill. It's almost 50% more this year
No,
than it was
I had
the
to ask for
prior
that.
year.
Do you have them?
On the phone.
Get one of the subs that we
What?
usually get with this application.
I asked for lots of things.
Oh, is that
Well,
what
you
you're
know,
getting right now?
What?
She can forward it to everybody when she does this. Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay.
Bob asked for it. He is cheating. It's, you got any information that we don't have.
It's called due diligence. It's
So,
not called cheating.
Well, I wrote it on
Yeah,
my
it
thing.
looks, well, I don't know, you could say this too,
What?
but, so normally, we calculate our bills using the months November through March.
Yes.
So we don't capture any irrigation water. But we found, and we see a few appeals even on there tonight, where systems were either still on or still leaking in the month of November, which creates an increase in the amount of water used. And we see that here from your November 2019 water usage is about double what your December through March water usage is. So it does appear to me, if you guys want to look at it, or just believe
No, I
me,
believe you.
that it is related to irrigations, and Bob
But
loves
he-
doing this math.
He has a meter. So the calculation was done with the meter. So I'm wondering, and having gone through the charts here, and basically in 2017 you used 211 CCFs, 18 177, 19 178, but your meter deduction is going down quite a bit. I'm wondering if either you used a faucet to irrigate that wasn't part of the meter did not
It's not
go
the
through,
sub-meter.
or maybe the sub-meter is having an issue.
It could be either one. We're going to have that all checked. We did find the irrigation lawn heads have to be fixed first thing this spring.
Yeah, but
And,
those would have, or should have gone through we'll say a good meter.
Mhm.
So that, the meter readings should have taken into account
And,
gallonage going
well,
out
we do have
a
some-
bad head.
We do have some plant, shrub, water use. My wife's in the DCA group, the greenhouse charity thing, and that does call for some water use.
So your concern, Bob, if I could reiterate it, is that there is a connection to the irrigation system that is bypassing the sub-meter, maybe.
I'm just
maybe,
trying to find the answer.
Maybe, or the sub-meter itself is a bit faulty.
Yeah. it
Well,
could
yeah,
be.
because between 18 and 19, basically there was 1 CCF of difference, but there was 30, wait a minute, yeah, 30 CCFs different on the deduction meter.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm
yeah.
doing
Do we have
this.
enough data to make a recommendation?
Well, the recommendation I can get to with using our method, circumventing the irrigation meters, I can get it down to 640.50.
And so
Is that dropping the month?
that's, yeah.
Yes, dropping November, using December, January, February, and March, and annualizing it and times the 610 per
And
CCF,
the number is 640,
50.
640.
That's dollars?
Yes.
$640.50.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with the way you thought through it's perfect. If there's a month that jumps out, it's probably related to something like irrigation. It's not a leaking toilet
So
or anything else.
No, but I can't,
Yeah.
I don't have a number to justify a faulty meter. So I mean, if he were to come back, we can go further, but this is
So, yeah.
as far as I can go with
But-
any of the information I was able to find, even, doing my due diligence and asking for water records.
Do you understand the logic, Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, that would be acceptable.
Okay. So we have a motion on the table to grant the appeal to $640.50. Do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second that.
Reese seconds the motion. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? Aye, okay.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Aspiazo's here, and she has to leave at 5 o'clock. If the commission would like to entertain that now, take it out of order, or come back at another time, she's on for number F. She would be
Shouldn't take
stepping
long.
All right.
Let's do that.
I'm good with that.
Would anybody else in the audience here on an appeal be opposed to us hearing Ms. Aspiazo before you so she can run and get her kids? No? Okay, yes, you will.
Excuse me, we're all done?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
we're all
sorry.
set.
Thank you.
All right, I'll then call 5F, 3 Turnabout Lane, Katina Aspiazu.
Hello.
I'm here because I noticed that my bill went up. And then the reason it went up because I have a leak on that time. And then I got a letter from the water company for you guys, so that way saying
Okay.
that they did an adjustment with the price.
Do you have a letter from whoever fixed it?
No, that's from the water company. Who fixed that was my husband, but my husband already passed, so my husband is not here, and I don't know.
Sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
It looks clear from the data.
Yes.
Do you have a recommendation, Bob?
Yes, it would be to amend the bill to $512.40.
So you're using the November, December, and March data
Yes.
annualized?
Yep,
Okay,
As-
say that number again?
512.40.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to grant the appeal to $512.40. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now I can pay the regular bill for okay? or-
You'll get
Yeah,
a
we'll
new
send you
bill,
a bill.
correct?
Yeah, you'll get a new bill, and
send
there
you a
will be
bill.
no finance
Thank you very much,
charges.
guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. B.
All right, moving back, we're going to B.
B, Mr. Powell will not appear tonight, and as far as we know, has nothing further to add, so we recommend tabling till February in case he has something else,
Yeah, that's a,
Well,
unless you don't.
so, the one thing I wanted to say to the crew here, so I'm gonna, let me announce it, 5B, 7 Wakemore Street, Glen Powell. We can either decide that this is what we want to do, or we can wait. We heard this once before, if I recall. He went back and digged a little more, didn't really turn anything up on the second round. So there's no smoking gun, as it were, to explain the increase in usage between November and March of 2018 and 2019. But as I was thinking about how to resolve this before coming in here, I thought, well, what if we just totalized the 12 months? Because that's what we're trying to do anyway. That would be in his favor somewhat, because it takes the low months and the high months together versus just calculating a bill based on the high months. And Bob is running to do the math.
Oh, I was just,
Did that catch you off guard, Bob?
yes, it did.
Well done, Greg.
Thank you, I stumped him.
The math.
I wanted to find out what it was in May or June of 19 that made it draw down.
Well, yes, we would love to determine that, and
You
it
never
doesn't sound like we will.
Okay.
Unless, but he has the ability to come back and say, this is
Yes.
an anomaly, it was repair, you should really judge me in my low months, not my high months, but there's no data presented.
Okay, so that takes us down to a totalized usage for the year of 329 CCFs,
Okay.
which which bills out at $2,000, $2,006.90.
$1,006.
2006.90.
Okay. So,
That gets,
do the commissioners feel comfortable proceeding with considering this appeal tonight in the absence of the ratepayer, or would you prefer to table it till we can talk to the ratepayer?
no, I think that part's straightforward, like
Okay.
you brought to our attention, because, that's in the infamous black and white, it's right there.
Yeah.
That's not arguable.
So we have the
It's going
data
past
at
that.
least to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's kind.
Okay. Then, is that a motion, Bob?
Yes,
Okay.
$2,006.90.
A motion on the table to grant the appeal to $2,006.90. Do we have a second?
I would say based on actual usage.
Based on
Yearly
the annual water use
Water usage.
for the 12 months from July 18th to June 19th. And the ratepayer is not prevented from coming back with more data that would allow us to make a different decision. Okay, so we have a second by Reese. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Granted.
And now when I look in the column, and I already have 329. I do, different color pen.
So you had it. So you
Different
had
color
it.
pen.
You had it. Yeah, you
But
were
I
there.
didn't times it out.
Good to show your work.
Item 5C, 23 Lighthouse Way, Lauren E. White.
I don't accept defeat.
Anyone?
I don't accept defeat very well. Okay, part of it is straightforward. Basically, they have in
The November
here
charge, yeah.
is a connection permit, a disconnect permit that was for 11/25, and then I actually asked, and the disconnect form that Anthony signs was dated 11/26.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, the bill that they were given was $685.80.
634.40? No?
No.
Okay.
$685.80 was their one for, it's not in there. I had
Oh.
asked what it was.
Okay.
And I think that they should pay the 2 months out of it, October and November, because it was disconnected at the end of November. So 2/12 of that, or 1/6.
So our bill goes out, is October 1st is when it's due? And it pays for that year, starting October 1st?
Based on the
Okay.
July 1 to,
Okay, okay, so that's just the data that we use, but the
Right.
bill starts on the
correct.
1st, the rate year, the ratepayer year. Okay, so
So-
I agree, they should pay for 2 months out of the 12 until such time it's reconnected.
Yes.
And then that is recalculated again.
So 1/6 of 685.80 is 114.30.
Okay, we have 114.30.
Yes.
We have a motion to grant the appeal to $114.30. Do I have a second on the motion?
Yep.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Granted. 5E, 34 Raymond Street, Heather Thomas.
We skipped-
Don't break our streak, Heather, we're doing pretty well.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute,
I
five,
have no
oh, wait
idea
a
there
minute,
was
what,
something called a sub-meter, so I'm learning.
Hey,
can I?
excuse
what-
me?
You missed D.
You jumped
Oh.
over D.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
That's not your fault, it's his. That's one point.
179 Middlesex
We
Road.
jump ahead, what do we do?
Huh?
Yeah,
That's
179.
fine, I'm just saying, I don't want the if Mr. and Mrs. Luciana is out there, I don't want them to think we skipped her.
Oh, I'm sorry, let's go back. So I'm sorry, 5D, 179 Middlesex Road. Ms. Thomas.
Yeah,
Hold on,
this
we're
one's
getting
quick,
there.
at least for me it is. Yes,
All right. Mrs. Luciana?
Yes.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, let's just sounds like we should just let Bob do your presentation.
okay. It appears as though November includes
Yep.
some irrigation.
Yes, I saw that.
So I
4
would,
months annualized.
I would propose that we annualize December, January, February, and March.
Yes,
We put them together, we come out with $366 even. So I would propose that we make an amended bill for $366.00.
do you understand what Mr. Hill did? It looked from your water records, like the November bill, you were still irrigating or it covered some irrigation time.
Yeah, and there were leaks, we discovered leaks
Yeah.
that we didn't know.
And the reason we go from November to March is we're attempting to get just domestic use and eliminate the irrigation
Yeah.
use. So instead of using November to March, we used December to March, which doesn't appear to have irrigation water in it. Annualize that.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to grant the appeal to $366. Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
All those in favor? All set.
And so do I get a new bill or?
You will get a new bill, and you'll pay it when you get it, and there'll be no finance charges.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right.
Ms. Thomas, 34 Raymond Street, 5E.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
What's going on here?
I have no idea. So my sewer water bill has been almost doubling for most of the time since I've owned the house.
Yep.
And I kept coming down every year to the department and saying, hey, what's going on? They said, okay, call Aquarian. I had any leaks and things that were going on at the irrigation system repaired. I then this year had Highland Sewer come out, inspect my system just to make sure everything was working. But I mean, since 2012, the bill was $398. It was $1,700 recently. I'm like,
Yeah. So
I don't know what's going
The interesting
on.
thing was, so you've heard some of the descriptions tonight.
Yes.
We try to figure out how much your domestic water use is by looking at the months of November through March. So theoretically, if you've got your irrigation system turned off, even though it might be leaking when it's on, it shouldn't show up, right? But there's still fairly high usage for all of these years. I've got 16, 17 in front of me, I've got 17, 18 in front of me, I've got 18, 19 in front of me. There's significant use during the November, December month for all of those years. So then we, and I'm glad you had someone come out and take a look at your sewer, but the condition of your actual sewer line from your house to your street wouldn't affect these numbers, right? Because, it's basically what's going through the water meter. So then I start to think, well, you might have a leak or a runny toilet or a dripping faucet or something like that that's using water in your house, a small amount, but continually all the time. That's creating these elevated numbers. So have you had a plumber go through your house and look at your fixtures?
I've had plumbers come and fix like toilets and stuff.
Yeah.
But they were leaking for maybe 3 or 4 days, not.
Maybe.
I called Aquarian and I said, look, I'm like, have you guys checked this meter in a while?
Yeah.
Because I kept going in to look at it and they said, put a bright light on it. I can't see that I couldn't bring up anything. And they said,
Yeah.
well, you need to have a really bright light. So it's like, well, I'm
So there's a
going
couple
in.
of things that you can do, and
I
I
didn't
learned
even
this
know
from
about a
Bob,
sub-meter.
even though
I'm
I should have
like-
learned it from my dad.
But I feel like
didn't.
something's wrong. I live on a third of an acre.
Yeah,
You're
no, I get it. No, we're gonna get there. We're just gonna, we're trying to use this as a learning.
We're
So
working
there's-
with you.
Yeah, there's a couple of
I
things.
just didn't know what to do. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something's wrong, but I don't know what to do at this
So
point.
here's a couple of ideas. So a plumber, if you don't want to, right, you can go through and shut off all the fixtures in your house and watch your water meter. And then one at a time, kind of turn on each fixture to see if it's leaking.
Okay. Write
Right,
this down.
that's one. Two, you can buy dye that you put in your toilet tank. And if the dye shows up in the bowl without you flushing it, it's leaking.
Okay.
So there's a couple of things that can be done to look for these kind of constant leaks. Now, that all being said,
Can I
Yes,
have a
please go
feeling
ahead.
the leak may have stopped.
it did, well, that's where I was going. That all being said,
In February of 2019, last year, it stopped.
it stopped.
I mean,
You
you,
did something.
something
with all
happened
the people
where,
you-
something happened where you're using
2019?
10,000 gallons less a month.
Yeah, so the data that we're looking at,
Okay.
shows
So that's
that
like a third of a swimming pool.
in February,
That's why I'm like,
your water bill
I know,
was-
I'm like, I'm beside myself. Like, there's 2.25 people living in the house.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
right.
Your
Versus before.
Your February water bill was for 2,400 cubic feet of water,
Okay.
and your March water bill was for 1,000 cubic feet of water. So it's about, whatever.
Doesn't that sound odd to you? Just odd.
Yeah, and then, so the water use from March to June is a bit on the high side, but more in line with what we see for typical domestic use.
So basically that would be 1 gallon a minute for a month.
So something was,
You said you had a plumber come in and fix.
But that's all
But
it
I
is,
mean, it
1
was
gallon. of-
February of 2019.
People don't realize how little,
last February or March.
I would have to check, but there was a toilet on the lower level that was I don't know if it was leaking, but it was just going over and
Running, yeah,
over. But
running.
they came within 2 days and like,
But
Could
it
that have
may
been about a
running
year
for
ago?
years.
could have been.
Yeah. Do you have that bill?
I do have that bill at home.
Okay. Can you get it to staff?
I can.
Do you
I
guys-
don't know if it was right then, but I can get you any plumber bills when
Yeah.
they came. Okay.
Yeah. Do we want to move this tonight? We want to wait a month to get
I mean,
that bill?
again, we can go a little bit with the same methodology
Yeah.
you just used,
We-
but that doesn't get it
We would
very
like to
far.
know that the problem's solved. It seems to be solved. Whatever was leaking is not leaking anymore.
It does
That's
seem
what I-
that way.
That's what I see. So do we have a motion, Bob?
Yeah, but I don't know what
Well, I would
number we're
use-
gonna
I was
use.
going to use March through June and annualize that. It's the best available information that we have.
For which year?
The
This
current
one.
year, 19. Yeah.
Her request is for 3 years. No, it's a good one, because.
Well, I mean, because I kept coming in every year and going, okay, I feel like something's wrong. What should
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah.
And they're like, check this, check that, check the irrigation, check
the-
whatever. And I kept
So
doing
the
this
other,
stuff, and I'm
so
like,
the other
whoa.
reality
like,
here is
Next year's bill.
whether you felt like you were legitimately using this water or not, it could be that this water was going down the drain, was going down the sewers, and ultimately the town of Darien had to pay the price for that water because we ship it all to Stanford and they charge us.
Okay.
So we've tried to strike a balance between granting appeals based on facts presented and proven anomalies, but also recognizing that the ratepayer has some responsibility to kind of pay attention to the water bills and the sewer bills and take action if they think something's odd. So
Trust me, when I got those bills, I thought something was up.
yeah,
I mean,
no, I hear you. So I think we should, because we try to strike that balance, I would be amenable to an appeal for this year, based on the best available information. I don't know how far back I'd be willing to go, and that's a discussion we can have, whether we make a motion for 1 year, whether we make a motion for 3 years, or we have 2 different motions.
Well, I can grant the appeal for 2019 to 6/22/20.
Okay, 622.20. Is that your motion?
Yes.
So we have a motion on the floor to grant the 2019 bill, grant an appeal for the 2019 bill to $622.20.
Bob, what was your methodology there? Take 4 months and annualize it?
Yes,
March
taking
through June annualized, yeah.
the 10/8,
Yeah.
the 10/8, 6, and 10.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that. I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, can I get a vote for that motion? All those in favor? Appeal for 2019 is granted unanimously. So now, the question is, what do you want to do about the back bills?
I mean, the one that just has me befuddled is November of 2017? Yeah, 2017.
The 35?
No,
the-
5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a low one. Then you get into like, the Aquarian's meter,
Oh, yeah, it could be estimated.
sticking and adding and estimating and,
Can you require, if you don't mind me interrupting,
Yeah.
can you, because whenever time I call them, they're very like, everything's
Not-
fine.
not us.
Can you get them to come out and say, can you check this?
Their meters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their
Because
meters
they're
should
just
be
like, everything's
changed
fine,
every
we're
5
reading
years or
it,
10
and I'm
years.
like, I
What is it?
just,
what, do you guys know the rules on
There is
meters?
there is a certain amount of time where it's supposed to be changed. I can't.
It seems,
they have
well,
changed it.
I don't know what the.
Because
well,
the woman
Unless
who I
there's a
bought the house and
sidewalk.
renovated it
Unless there's a
like
sidewalk
10 or
on it.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
So they said, oh, we've changed it, it's not like 30 years old or anything. I'm like, but I feel
I
like
don't know
something's
the
wrong.
rules or regulations, but it certainly seems totally reasonable to me that you say, look, my water bills have been all over the place, and I would really like someone out to check the condition of my meter and make sure it's working properly. That seems like a totally reasonable thing to ask.
One would,
Yes.
that's what I thought.
It's amazing.
And it's worth following up on. So, I think it's still worth you following up on, are any other toilets or faucets running or dripping or whatever.
Absolutely. That's-
And it's worth following up with Aquarian, just to, because you're, as I say to folks in this situation, you're paying for it coming and going. The water going into your house you pay for, the water going out of the house you pay for.
What's a sub-meter? I never.
Oh, so before we changed, and now, but we used to have quarterly data, and people, the irrigation water was more frequently captured because one of the quarters was October, and so a lot of people used to be irrigating in October. So we would give the option for people that were appealing their bills based on high quarter for the winter quarter. Of putting a sub-meter on their irrigation system. So all of the water coming in from the street gets metered in the Aquarian meter, and then before it goes outside to the irrigation system, there's a sub-meter. And then our staff would go out and read that sub-meter every year and subtract it from the overall. So
Okay,
it was
thank
another
you. I
way to.
just never heard of that,
Yeah, it was
so-
another way to isolate for the domestic water that's going down the drain.
Okay.
And then once they changed to monthly billing, we were able to take the 5 months and lose that 1 month that was jumping up.
Okay.
As
I thought-
most problematic,
Yeah.
which we
I
still
thought it was
see.
some
We
meter in
still
the
see a lot
ground
of
in addition
November.
to the other one.
No,
Okay.
this would be in the house, and it could also be if you have a
It's a lot more
swimming
November
pool.
than I would have
if you're
imagined.
filling a
Okay.
swimming pool. It's
But
any
isn't it like
water
sometimes
that
like they
doesn't
put the
ultimately
meter on the
end
14th,
up in the
it's
sanitary
half
sewer
of
system.
October anyway,
Okay.
Or
Thank
they
you.
seed that year.
Yeah. Okay. So you are asking us to consider appeals for the prior 2 years as well, the 18 bill and the 17 bill.
I am. The 18 bill was not horrific,
Yeah,
I mean, compared to 2015.
yeah. And so the question is, again, recently our tolerance for going back in time has been, give the ratepayer a few months to notice a problem and address it. So this generally goes farther than we've tended to go. But I want to give you that description, but is there anyone here that would like to consider further appeal motions?
Can you give me a sec?
I can.
Yeah, I think that the few times we have looked at multiple years, it's been ongoing problems, like one person at the water line.
They fix it here, and then
Yeah,
they
it's a
fix it,
whack-a-mole,
another thing
yeah.
happened, and they, yeah, whack-a-mole, exactly. But they were progressively addressing.
Yeah, well, if I could just state, I did come in every year, once it started escalating, and said, you know, what's going on, blah, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah,
okay.
blah. And they made these recommendations.
Yeah.
So I did, you know, if anything ever happened, I would fix it and whatnot. But then I kept thinking, oh, if I do this, then it's gonna go away, and it won't,
Maybe you
it'll
could,
be
like,
okay.
codify something, like sort of the process you described with the dye testing, the toilets and shut me off the valves. and
So
all
that's
that.
something easy for
That's
them to-
Something you guys could hand out
Yeah.
to people that come in and say, I have this anomaly. And maybe have your plumber check this, have Aquarian call Aquarian, here's the number, and put it all on one sheet.
I mean, honestly, I didn't know I could appeal it till this year, because I came in and I was like, wait a minute, like, it's out of control again.
Those
They're
are
like, well, you know, you can
expensive
appeal. I'm like, okay, I have all the records. And I
It's kind of amazing if it's one toilet, isn't it? Isn't that mind-blowing?
It is mind-blowing.
As I've said before, there's 1,440 minutes in a day.
I've heard you
There's-
say
And that's one day.
I've heard you say that.
So when you take that over 30 days, that's, you know, you don't need too many gallons. And if you've ever stared at the bowl, you can just see a tiny little ripple along the side. And that's why you need to put the dye in there. And sometimes you can't even see the dye going into the bowl. All you see is the fact that the water in the tank becomes diluted and becomes opaque as opposed to a solid color.
We all know what Bob does with his time.
It's common sense.
You know, I'm with you. Flows downhill.
I'm trying here.
Yeah, I've got something to propose in a second.
Okay.
So, probably not,
Two math guys.
yeah.
They better than one.
So, this is what I did, and you can call
Okay.
me crazy, you can call me, anybody can call me crazy. You have comments on approximately how many people were living in the house each year. So, I took the 2019 year when you had 2.25 people living in the house, and the bill that we got to of $622.20. And I did this with money, not flow, Bob, so just, I realized what I did.
I got you.
And so that comes out to 622.20 divided by 2.25 people is $350.53 per person per year. And I went back and looked, well, you had more people living in the house in the past, so if we took 3 times 350 in 2018 and 4 times 350 in 2017 and 2016, what would that do? It doesn't save you any money in 2018, but it does save you $249.72 in 2017, and it saves you $341.92 in 2016.
Is that using the rates per year?
Not the rates per year, I just did this with money, not flow, yeah. So there's probably some 3 or 6%.
teasing.
Yeah,
I'm
you kill me.
teasing.
You're not teasing, well, anyway. I could go back and redo it.
I know you could,
Uh,
but I like your kindness.
So, before I ask for a motion, do any discussion on the methodology? For lack of
No, I think it's
other
trying,
data.
it's trying.
No, I got it.
Trying to be fair.
It's a method.
It's kind.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
And it's a balance.
All right, then I'll make the motion, even though I shouldn't. So do you understand what I did?
sort of,
Yeah.
you didn't use the flow, but you used the number of
We
people
took
with
this
some
year's
calculation.
bill, number-
This year's
and
bill,
divided
number of
by the Number of
people.
people creating the bill. and then
Okay.
Backtrack through the years of the number of people in the house per
Okay.
year on today's
What he said.
charges.
Kinda got it.
Is that a
I got the
motion?
gist.
So, I'll make a very specific motion. So I move to grant an appeal for 2016 to $1,401.20. And I move to grant $1,400, $1,401.20.
And credit back 341.
Oh, yeah, I'll get there too. And grant an appeal for for 2017, to $1,401.20, same value. The result of which would be a credit of $591.64 on bills already paid, which in effect,
Not inclusive in 2019.
yeah, not inclusive of 2019, which in effect make this year's bill $30.56 after the credit.
Okay.
Did you guys get it?
Get that?
$30.50.
Yeah.
$30.50 for 2019.
56
And that
cents.
basically covers everything.
Yes, so you can do any way you want.
2018, no
I
credit.
didn't see any
No
savings.
change.
No
Right.
change.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Did you raise your hand or no?
No.
Okay. All those opposed? Okay. All those abstaining? All right, 3-1. Motion passes.
Thank you very, very much.
Did the best we could.
I've learned a lot. I'm going to do these 3 things that you
Yes.
mentioned because I'm still, something's up, I feel.
I don't disagree.
The one thing that you can take onus with now is on your water bill, it'll tell you how you were as opposed to 12 months before. So it'll tell you if your water usage went up or went down. Something new they finally got around to
Okay.
adding with this great technology of theirs. So that
No,
should,
thank you. I'm kind of ignorant about all this, so I've been trying to learn. And
yeah, no,
feel
well,
like
this, but this
something was
is
wrong, and
a
I'm
barometer.
still not sure.
This is one barometer that you can go by. It's harder during the summertime with your irrigation system, but the winter months is the biggest time to really be able to check on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was,
I'm gonna do the same thing,
Yeah.
have the plumber come. 'cause I
Yeah,
still
someone in
feel-
one of their letters mentioned that Aquarium brought the tablets. I don't know. I'd have to go and look through the packet again.
they did it
You
without.
start getting blurry-eyed after a while looking at them over and over. But
Thank you
Yes.
very much, Commissioner. I appreciate it very much.
Good luck in
we
your
write the same-
further efforts
We know we write the
to
same stuff down, right?
reduce your water use.
But you, who's the state?
It was a debate.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
We did, okay, so now we've got
we're up to G.
G, 19 Sunnyside Avenue, James Mitchell. All right, come on down.
Okay.
Sort of see how all this works.
Yep.
I gather you've got a lot of info. I'm sorry, I didn't know coming in how many people. I made 2 copies and one for me. Do you want me to share any of this with you, or do you have enough in front of you to?
Yeah, whatever information you
I'll-
got.
Sure, I mean, it looks like it came over very well.
Oh, no, these are good.
Is it the same?
Yeah, that looks the same as I have on the letter, right?
Yeah, I may have added a year. I found 2014, believe it or not, but,
Yep.
Actually, in the very, if you want to do it at the very bottom, 2019 in December, it was 21. I did my due diligence and asked
oh, December?
Penny about that. December's 21.
This December,
Yes.
this past
Just,
December.
just
was
to
21.
throw it out there, because,
Oh, so that's up again.
yes, that's why I want to throw it out there.
21's a lot for December.
Well, it's average what I've been doing for the last 6 years. 1825 is my average.
So the,
Higher if you put 21 in there, it's 19.
leak adjustment, calculate a one-time
I-
basis, adjustment amount equates to
I'm a little
approximately
befuddled by,
4,800
to
cubic
be honest
feet.
with you,
By what?
by the way the numbers are moving. But you can tell us when you had your, you were talking
Yeah,
about
what if-
repairs?
So, I mean, the only thing that came to me is my bill comes in, it was double this year versus the historical numbers. I've been at about, what, 775, 800, 1,100 the last 3 years in taxes. This year is
Yeah.
about 2,000. I was like, wow, okay. But it goes back to the methodology, I think, for calculating January, February, March, April. I had had a leak. I used the blue pill. We did find it. It was a leaky faucet. That being averaged in that period obviously gives me a much higher annual
Annualizing
consumption.
annualizing with those,
I've
yeah.
been running those months, that looks like they're about 2.5, 3 times bigger than usual. So I was just looking for some relief. The second page that I handed you, I got some relief from Aquarian.
40.
You said the leak was when? Sorry.
Well, sometime in the first quarter. I think I had probably January, February, realized I had an enormous bill and tried to figure out how to.
Oh, it wasn't until then? Oh, I would assumed
Yeah.
it would have been like in December.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I don't believe so. I think it was in the beginning of, about this time last year, January, February, the numbers were quite large
So we
relative
have-
to,
Okay.
Well, so, Bob,
Yes.
we have the appellant suggesting there was a leak between January and April of 2019.
I'm looking, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, between
Next page
January,
is someone else.
between January
Excuse me.
and April of 2019, and provided proof of the Aquarian Water Company adjustment, leak adjustment. After the leak was prepared, between May and December, water use is less than those other months. So I'm considering an annualized adjustment based on the May through December usage, which would be 21 for May, 21 for June, 16 for July, 16 for August, 15 for December, 42,
139?
16 for plus 13 plus 21, 139.
Okay.
Times 610? No. I
Well,
got it.
no,
Yeah,
be
sorry.
divided by
Yeah, yeah.
3, 6, 8.
8 divided by 8 times 12. Times 610. 127,185. Is that your math, Bob?
Yeah, it doesn't,
Which
doesn't really help.
doesn't. How does that not really help? Yeah, it helps because the bill was
Well,
2,000.
it helps.
yeah, it helps. Anything helps.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd encourage you to keep looking, but that seems to be what I'd be willing to do based on the data provided.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, do you have an irrigation system? I'm sorry to say.
No,
Okay.
I don't. Can I ask, does this seem high to you?
Yes.
Yeah, the water
I mean,
use
but
still
I'm
seems a bit high.
provided 5 or 6 years, and it's fairly consistent.
Yeah.
Do we just use a lot of water, or? I have no basis for.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you know,
at 5 or 6
could
years,
be,
but if you look.
never know, right? It could be, you still have 3.5 or 5 gallon toilets. Do you good water pressure? Take a long shower. You get into all that stuff, right? But
Right.
I have found in my own home that water saving fixtures, both toilets and shower heads and faucets,
Right.
have helped significantly reduce my water use. And I got a family of 4, and
Yeah.
I can't get them out of the shower.
No, teenagers are tough.
So yeah, you might consider
Heat
that.
bill.
Yeah, you might consider that. Or not.
Right. All that water's got to get heated up, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it helps with everything, right? So,
So-
as I've said, you pay for it coming and going.
But, so we've made an adjustment?
Not yet. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjust the 2019 sewer bill to $1,271.85.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
And
Okay.
if you find something else, you can come back.
I don't know what I'll find.
I'm just
Scared
giving
you.
you that option.
I appreciate it.
Because it does still, I agree with you that it's up there.
It does seem high.
You know, well, if you look at like
I mean, when you, each
the
one of.
winter of 2015,
Yeah, March and April.
okay, those are values I think that we would be used to seeing.
That's more normal.
Yeah.
So just so you know, this month, or in December, the December bill, it's not quite December, you use 15,708 gallons.
Right.
That's
It's a lot of water.
what some people, twice that was what some people's houses use in a year.
So I'm irrigating something.
Yeah, something's getting water.
Your meter is in your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a new house, so it's an electric meter, it's all,
They read it driving by, and, you know.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
new house, okay.
well, new, in the last 6-7 years, right?
It's newer than mine.
Toilets would be smaller, you know, the.
Yeah, no,
You'd have the better toilets, yeah.
yeah,
The toilets are good.
low flow shower
I think
heads.
it's the kids.
Huh.
You know, you can also, I was listening, everyone's irrigating.
Long showers are very relaxing.
The, the summer use goes up, mine goes down.
Yeah.
Why don't you raise your allowance to your water bill?
I want one of those things.
Exactly.
All
Every
right.
dollar we save, you get 50
Thank you.
cents. That's a good idea. All right, where are we? It's supposed to be quick.
Sorry.
I'd shut the water.
5H, 224 Long Neck Point Road, Rosemary C. Roberto. Hi, how are you? Good.
Awesome to see how this all works.
There's no quiz.
Thank you.
Hey, man.
No, but I'm just, you're all
Sewer
such-
Commission's
so
one of the
good
most
in
exciting
math.
nights in town.
So thanks so much for listening to me. I almost had a heart attack when I got my
Yeah.
bill this year.
You can see why.
So I first had a heart attack in 2013 when I got our bill that isn't listed here.
Okay.
And then had a meter installed into our house. And then you could see the difference, both our water usage, because they separated out the irrigation on it. And so what we were taxed on was exactly what our usage was. So you can see that the numbers have gone up. So I was trying to be a good Darianite and not have to have Tony come and read the meter, because I know that's, time consuming and labor intensive and whatever. And they assured me at the Public Works that it wouldn't be a difference. And it was a huge difference. And primarily, I think, because November of 2018, we used 84.
Yep.
Yep.
And, for our house, that number really varies. And I think you can see from 2014 through now, our average usage is somewhere between 8 and 12 a month. And then the rest of it tends to be irrigation and sometimes the pool. But so it works out that it was a huge number.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what to do, because now we're at the point where I'd like to have Anthony come in every time again,
Yeah.
which I understand is still doable, which I'd
Yes.
like to request that, because the number is so significant.
So we could do this, right? Can't we really have them, can we have them read the bill now?
That's
Does that
what I was
help us?
thinking is probably
Read the
the
meter now?
best, one of the best ways to go, and then
Well,
do
if we
some
read
kind
it
of
now, it would
adjustment.
take more off this bill and less off next year's bill.
I see.
Because you're gonna go past the,
Past July.
past July, you're gonna do
July.
August, September, October, so that would,
Well, and to complicate things even further, my November bill last year was 84, my November bill this year is 8.
Yes.
So,
I can see that,
so
too.
it's,
well, you just turned it off earlier, is all that happened.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as far as the calculation, doing November to March doesn't work for
Yeah, no, I've done it a couple of other ways to try but for some reason, you have an anomaly in February of last year.
Yeah.
Any reason why?
Did you have people
of
visiting? or-
18.
Yeah,
We had,
or 19?
yeah, my
Just about a
family,
year ago.
there was a family member who was ill, and we
Okay.
did a lot of laundry, and,
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
and we had extra people.
Okay.
All right,
Because
so
it's
if you take
usually
the-
just my husband.
All right, this is
and
what I was thinking. If you take the 4 months from January through May, or through April,
I did that.
you get 1,100
No, you
cubic
don't. You get 132. Well,
per month, times 12, which is 132 for
yeah.
the year. Yes,
That comes to 80520.
yeah, I agree. So you have a motion, Bob?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would make a motion, we give our amended sewer bill for 2019 to $805.20.
Do I have a second on the motion?
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. I guess I would say maybe the best thing for the way that your usage goes is to continue to have Tony reading the sub-meter since you have it.
I should, but we'll end up with the same problem next year, because when he comes, I'm going to ask for him to come in June, so I just get back on the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, well, I don't know, actually, what would you guys suggest is the best time for him to come?
Well, somewhere he's gonna have to basically zero it out.
Yeah.
So his first reading is gonna be
Does
just
he
a
normally
zeroing
Does he
reading.
normally go all year round, or is it just?
No, it's once a year,
once a-
July.
in July.
Yeah, you want to be, because the bill runs July
it's-
to
they're cutting-
June,
you're
so you
pulling
really
it out.
want to.
So it coincides with our billing period.
Mr. Burrow, did,
Yes.
did he not come back out and read it the
Oh,
last couple months, within the last couple months?
No, because I had said, oh, I'll just go
You
on,
said no.
on the thing. I'll try to save some
Yeah.
money in the labor costs.
I thought I told him, go back out and read it anyway.
Okay.
Because we saw what was gonna happen, or I saw what was gonna happen, and it was
So it
better
would've
to
been
have the
another data
information.
point.
Whether you go either,
Absolutely.
which way you
Yeah.
go, we could have had a choice, but right now, we're gonna have to wait. I recommend he goes back out and reads it now.
Okay,
Let's get the data now.
Okay.
And we'll do it again in June.
okay.
At least it'll
July,
give you
yeah.
something to look at when she does come in, and I'm assuming she will, to appeal, and I would too,
Right.
Yeah.
to address the issue.
Does that sound good to you?
Awesome.
Yeah, okay, great.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Okay.
5I, 216 Leroy Avenue, Robert Conlog.
He's not going to be here.
Okay, let's take a look.
Everything jumped up.
Did Penny speak to you about this?
She said, don't
We
worry
wanna
about
table
it
this
because
one?
they're gonna table it. He's not showing up and he didn't
Yeah.
bring any information.
He did not provide us with information.
Yeah,
That's what Penny
there's
has.
something going on, but it doesn't reach out and slap you in the face.
This is his first time on the agenda. I'd like to at least give him one more meeting to try to address it, and
Let's table
if he
5I.
doesn't come in after that, I think you can make your own.
Yeah, because if he can show us something
Yeah.
in February,
Plumber bill.
Plumber bills.
it goes down to 9, and then I know his November and December of this year are also 9s. So I mean, there's information
Yeah,
to show that those 4 months
They're higher
are higher.
last year. Yep.
so, item number 6 on the agenda, it says FOG ordinance review and discussion with Attorney Fox. But I don't see Attorney Fox.
No, the with Attorney Fox is where the ordinance is right now.
Oh, that's,
And that's a discussion that we're gonna have with you. I did send it to him
that
about
proper
3 weeks
grammar?
ago.
Oh, okay, so he's looking at it now.
Yes.
That's what that means, okay.
We
That's
we did speak the beginning of the week. I just couldn't get it. I got him some more information. I do need to speak to him, and I think Dan Fox is gonna be looking at this with him.
Okay.
There was one item about the penalties that he had a question about,
Okay,
and just wanted to let you folks know that I think some of the verbiage that was in there, and to be honest with you, I took it right out of our ordinance, code of ordinances already, makes one of these issues, whether a major or minor violation, a criminal offense. And he wanted to see if we really wanted to go that direction.
yeah, no, I guess.
So I said that I would bring it to your attention, but I don't believe that's the direction we want to go.
No.
But just wanted to, that's the discussion I wanted to have with you, just to let you know, that's kind of one of the items that kind of popped
Levy
right up.
fines,
That's what I kind of thought we were.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I went back and I showed him the section I took it from.
Okay, the reality is there is, let me say it since we're on TV and part of the public record. The reason we are doing this is there is a cost to the maintenance of this very valuable public asset that is the sewer system. And the disposal of fats, oils, and greases into our sewer system significantly increases that cost of maintenance.
There's also a possibility of a backup.
Which is a possibility of backup, which could affect
Other people.
other people.
Yeah.
So our intent is always to make sure that people are complying with state law and our local ordinances regarding maintaining fats, oils, and grease separators on public kitchens. but for people that are not in compliance, to charge them fees and fines for the discharge of fats, oils, and greases into our system, which we're paying for and all the ratepayers are paying for. Enough said?
You got it. It's all covered.
Item 7,
Fair and equitable.
first snapshot at the
Spreadsheet.
2020-2021 budget.
I see a budget increase, I mean, a rate increase.
0.6%.
0.6?
Oh, you're no fun.
0.6 is beautiful.
Yeah,
CPI is
so I
1.5.
think. So, do you have anything you want to highlight on here? Or do you want to just show it to us now and discuss it next month?
Oh, we can, I have a meeting with Kate, Jamie, and Jen on Thursday to review my budget. And part of them is my submission for the sewer fund, the parking fund, and the general fund all at one time. Generally speaking, they don't modify, they just kind of go over this and make sure there's nothing that's outstanding. The one item I do have to point out, of course, is the payments to the city of Stamford.
Which account is that?
That is 2/3 of the way down where it says hold
Whole
budget
budget.
in
No
red.
invoice yet.
That's 2.7. That, at this point, when I finish this on December 3rd, I didn't get the invoice. I did get one on the 20th of December.
Oh.
It was approximately a month late.
That's
The-
pretty good for them.
The person that was sending it to me said that it accidentally had sat in her outbox, her email, and there for a month, so.
Okay.
It's sitting on my desk. I read the cover letter and haven't looked into the numbers yet.
Well, is the
Not-
number larger or smaller than the one you've got in your budget?
If it was smaller, I would have jumped inside that envelope and looked all over it, but it's significantly higher, and I want to take a good time to go through the numbers. one by
Well,
one.
you've piqued my interest, Ted. You can't give us a teaser like that.
They're looking at somewhere around 15.8% as our percentage of flow right now. This, which is lower than what they had anticipated last year. They were up around 16 point something, if you recall, saying that our flows, because we added new meters, we added the crossings and so on.
But the crossings haven't been that significant, have they?
They're actually, that's why the 15.8 is less. So I don't know how they prorated that and came up with the flows that we decided we would do, not from July to the full year, but we got them to agree to it October, I believe. We started using the crossings. So once I get into that, that should be, it should see a
But, I
significant.
mean, can you advise us on our potential exposure on that line item?
It's somewhere around 3.3 million.
Okay.
Wow. When you start looking back over the years, that's significant from
That is,
where we
and
were.
the first thing that jumped out at me was their administrative line item is up 1.5 million. So I have to take a look at, now I have to go into their budgets and take a look. And
Yeah.
it's something I normally do anyway.
So wait, so that would push that 24,000 to 624,000? Is that what you're telling me? The bottom right-hand corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
If their number is correct, and realize that the 15.8.
There's a lot of things,
is
'cause
what
there were-
they use to project.
Yes, no,
our
I'm just
cost, based on their
making sure that my logic.
proposed budget.
But yeah, you've got to look into the bill, because they're back charging for some amount of time, and we have to make sure it's only in accordance with the agreement that they're back charging for, and so it's a combination of back charging and forward charging.
Because what does that mean?
I understand that from the incident they had at the at the treatment plant, the explosion that they had there, they're supposed to be recouping all of their costs through the insurance, except for right now, the deductible, which is like $100,000, which
We got to
we're
make sure
getting.
they're not overcharging us on the.
So it comes down to,
Total amount.
well, you're going to go get that too. So we have other ways I have to take a look at this. And
Yeah.
I didn't
But
want
so
to put that number in this budget. That I
You're
didn't
going to
think it
be
was appropriate.
meeting with Kate and Jamie when?
Thursday.
In 2 days?
Yep.
So what are you going to tell them about this line item?
Same thing I told you, which is that it has an opportunity to go up if I just use their number, up to 3.3 million. And if I go through it like I normally do and I adjust like I normally do, it could come down under 3 million. I mean, take a look at 15.8. I'm looking at a very, very rainy last year. I just don't see that happening. I don't think I can project a budget using that type of weather forecast, if you will. So I will adjust that percentage appropriately.
But it really shows how important reducing flows will be and how much we can potentially save.
Yeah.
It's a big number.
In the next conversation, well, we'll talk about it a little later on the agenda, but the next conversation is going to be, how do we start putting money aside, or talk about bonding some money to do these capital improvements to
So,
get this number down faster.
I had another question.
Yep.
That I will ask under item number 7.
Okay. I think I know where that one is.
Yeah.
You know, just a snapshot, it seems like you guys in-house are running a really, really tight, well-run,
Yes.
I mean, congratulations to the consistency.
Yeah, our side of this equation is
Is really well done.
really tight.
Can't be easy.
I mean, one good benefit was, and 2 items that you asked what I wanted to point out, that was the more significant of everyone, but we did get a reduction in our clean water fund, principal and interest, if you take a look at that, which is significant. I think it was, went from 53 down to 26. I think it's the last payment we make. I think they borrowed money from the clean water fund. I think Bob had,
Okay.
not you, Bob Steger.
So the 126 is the last payment.
The 26,000 will be last, so that 45,000 reduction all the way at the bottom, you see?
Yeah.
That's included in a reduction of, they say transfer to other funds. I put money in the budget to be transferred to capital projects. And I normally ask for like 150,000 or 125,000 to be transferred to the pump station improvements or pipeline improvements, because I'm upgrading all the pump stations as I've been here. I reduced that number from, I believe, 150 down to 100,000 this year.
Because of that, because you got that extra.
Because I knew that, I also knew that Stanford was gonna increase their rates, so I wanted to try to balance the budget someplace and take a bite out of it a little someplace else. So I did that.
What's being deferred by making that choice that could happen sooner?
It's, you know what, if we hadn't been dragging Seagate along with us right now, we'd probably be talking about Brookside having to hold up. It's not significant. We have a grease issue over there. So there's maybe something I want to put in there, mechanical to help, or.
Some sort of a trap?
Yeah, so sometimes, something that would help that area. And then the next one after that, we did 5 Mile, we did Seagate, Brookside. To be honest with you, I don't know what Steve has on his list after that.
What about
But
Brookside? Could we get an estimate for what whatever that grease trap type thing would be, just sort of push that along?
As soon as I have the pump stations inspected by Arcadis, we spoke today, and we'll go over that. We have an item on that we'll talk about, but that is in the process too.
Yeah, great. Again, guys, seems like you're doing an awesome job. If Stanford did this, we'd be paying less.
Once, I'm going back one item, but once Mr. Fox is done with his comments on the fog ordinance, will you send it to us digitally?
Sure.
Thank you. And we wait to hear more on item number 7. Going to item number 8, superintendent's report.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay.
So you never know which folder it's in.
Oh, I know. How about keep an extra copy?
And I'm not going to have it with me at all times.
Okay. Item A. We have the CMOM meeting, which we had today. it was a final of 3 workshops that we had, lasted 2.5 hours each, going through what they call worksheet, questions that help you feed the CMOM document and program. So we've wrapped up, if you call, let's say, phase 1. The phase 2 portion of it will be putting together action document, which will tell you what you should be doing after you filled out this worksheet. So one of the things is, hey, do you document your locations of your trouble spots? You know, yeah, we have a worksheet, or we have a sheet that we write it on. Some of the action items say, okay, now let's put it in a spreadsheet, let's locate them on GIS. Those are action items. They're going to be developing that next. And then the final phase, phase 3, will be to produce the final CMOM document itself of what we do and how we do it.
How far out does that look? Does that look like 1 year, 5 years, 2 years, that kind of a thing?
The CMOM program?
Yeah.
They don't look at,
In terms of implementation, if they have 10 suggestions, do they phase it in, or is it?
it really depends on the magnitude of the suggestion. These things are items that we should be able to accomplish or build on, and I'd say over the next couple of years,
Cool.
to get everything up to a certain level, with the help of the I&I program that we're doing,
Okay.
whether it's GIS, whether it's manhole inspection, and so on. So that's where we are with the CMOM right now. We do have some good news where we are going to start installing the flow meters in the next couple of weeks. They've identified them. We'll see if we have any trouble with any of them, move them if we have to, and things like that. They are going to start doing a flow assessment, which means they're going to start looking at manhole inspections and GPS locating them as they do them.
So off to the
that's gonna start
races.
too.
Is that weather?
Sorry?
Off to the races.
Yes.
Is that gonna be weather dependent, whether we get rainfall, or are they gonna be able to level that based on the gauges?
At
We
this
are
time of
hope-
year, I'm
yeah.
probably worried more about the snow.
Yeah.
But the rain, in their eyes, right now,
Rain's
some
good.
rain is good
Yeah.
to get the groundwater level up. They'd like to see it come up a little bit higher. So
The
they can-
forecast looks good. Looks like we've got some rain ahead of us.
Yeah.
But to your point, yeah, you want to capture,
As much as you can.
a few unique rain events
With
in the
conditions.
data, so then you know how the flow in the sewer responds to the weather.
So they're looking at maybe by February, March, having everything ready to go. March, April, May, maybe getting some good readings out of
Great.
the weather forecast and the rain that may come with it. You have Mr. Seagate Pump
Seagate.
Station?
We are waiting on the cabinets, the utility cabinets, which have a long lead time. Our facilities sewer guy has requested prices for trenching, and it's on me to finish the easements now that we're ready to go. I have not recorded them yet. That'll be done soon.
Okay?
Any questions on that?
No.
Okay.
For me.
The sewer repair on Center Street, that's also on me. Green Mountain, we're waiting, we waited till after the holidays, so I'll give them a call tomorrow and see if we can get them lined up. They were waiting to have enough work going in Norwalk so they could do us both at the same time. It's not worth it for them to load up their truck to just do one job, so they said they would work through the winter, and they said they would be able to accommodate us, so I have to get back on their radar.
Okay.
I'll keep going. I'm sorry.
I would just say that waiting through after the holidays was something that I directed Darren to do. And I
That's
don't want
really
you to look
smart.
at him and why we didn't do it, just with the restaurants down there and stuff like that, I just
CBD.
felt it
I
was.
mean, that's gonna be nuts, that
Yeah,
time of the year.
so I just felt it would be best that we wait.
He's right, I wanted to do it before the holidays. Connection fees, condo charges, I haven't done anything on, it's just with the holidays and everything, and it's gone for a couple weeks.
Okay.
Multiple accounts, as far as we can tell, we did contact Aquarion, and as far as we can tell, the multiple accounts are those properties that have multiple structures on a given property. But we're not done looking into that and seeing how we can handle those,
Okay.
so.
And did you want to talk about sump pumps?
Yeah, one of the things that Craig and I talked about earlier is the possibility of somehow informing home inspectors during the sale process to be on alert for sump pumps hooked up to the sewer system as something that needs correction prior to a sale. And how we might do that, how we might word that or get that on their radar.
So remind me, at this point, in terms of our relationship with the building department and illicit sump pump connections, when someone requests a building permit or plumbing permit, is the sump pump flagged at this point to us?
We've had good luck. It's hit or miss. Would you say that's accurate, hit or miss?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean?
When they see it, some of them let us know, some of them don't.
Okay.
We've reported to the commission actually on a couple of occasions where the building
seen a
department
couple of pictures,
graciously
yeah.
said, here's a picture of a sump pump connected directly to the sewer. And we thank them profusely and of course bring the good news to the commission. But I don't think that Ed or I know what everybody's doing or if that's universal or if there's a formal process in place that.
So we of
makes
course have an
everybody-
ordinance that says, don't do it. It's not allowed in the town of Darien. And we have been trying to work with the building department to have them,
Eyes and ears.
you know, when someone is asking for something they don't have, that
It's also plumbing code,
It's also plumbing.
state plumbing
Okay.
code, which I'm reminded quite often that they enforce the codes here in the state of Connecticut.
So buildings should be enforcing the plumbing code, and they have taken to identifying illicit connections and sharing that information with us. And so the thought, I think that Reese is picking up, which is, you know, how can we, so the only time we'll find them at this point without ratcheting up our inspection efforts is if someone applies for a building permit and an inspector happens to be in a location where they can inspect that and chooses to. So trying to cast a wider net of trying to find these things or trying to make people aware of them. And the idea was to send some sort of letter or flyer to home inspectors. You know, maybe there's 12 that do 80% of the work in town, to say, we just wanted to bring this to your attention, town ordinance, it's a building code. If someone goes for a building permit, they're gonna have to remedy. You may choose to note this in your inspections.
And more importantly, it's protecting someone who's buying a home and doesn't know that, and that could be a future problem that they encounter if they want to remodel the kitchen.
Mhm.
And it shouldn't be unnoticed.
So we thought that was a reasonable
No, it's
thing to do.
But again,
something that's not hard to do. We get a
Yeah.
list of the home inspectors in the area, or, you know, with the
We can-
internet nowadays, it's
Yeah.
not hard to grab a group of those
Yeah.
folks and either send out, we could send them a letter, we could also send
Yeah.
them out an email.
A version of a letter that we've sent to our
Absolutely.
ratepayers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is all new business, right?
drifting.
It could be next time.
Where, oh, okay, I was just.
You're right.
I'm just matching
I-
up
I-
agenda.
I'm under the superintendent's report, which, you know, theoretically, this is related to I&I.
It is.
Yeah.
So maybe we're talking about this under 8A, if there's somebody taking notes.
Yep.
Our
I'm
superintendent's,
taking
rep-
notes.
7A.
You're taking
our
notes.
superintendent's report usually has a Q&A section,
Okay.
and I have a Q.
8A.
Oh,
Oh, this is misnumbered.
Nearwater Lane Pump Station, the tanks, what was the water result?
To be honest with you, I can't tell you. I didn't get them. I will get them.
You really didn't get them?
It doesn't mean that it wasn't done. It means they weren't given to me.
Okay.
So I will I'll get that and I'll get that out to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna venture a guess that if it was really bad, they would have said something to me, but they may have not. Thought it was important enough.
May
after-
I
Just another
ask-
piece of paper that comes into
May
the
I
office.
ask who you used? Phoenix, Hydro?
They may have sent them over to Stanford to do the original test,
Okay.
like we do with all our sewer samples.
Anything else for the superintendent's report? Any new business?
I need 30 seconds to ask a question.
Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous. We're in new business, which is item number 9 on the agenda.
Okay. When I'm doing my, and I'll call it due diligence on these things, and I ask for other things,
Fine.
is it okay for me to forward it to you guys? Or is that
I would
constituted?
appreciate you for.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's okay. I wasn't sure it was
yeah.
okay. Otherwise, I would have.
I think he's asking, is it a meeting? It's not,
Okay.
right?
No, it's gathering
How about,
information.
why not, instead of coming from you, why not ask staff to just,
Yeah.
whenever you get emailed, just send it to all of us? Then it comes from
That's
staff.
fine, but usually I would
Yeah.
think some of it needs an explanation for me, because some of it, like seeing this year's data, it just completes the picture for me.
I think,
And
well,
unless I explained it, it would be,
no, I mean, to me,
at times it might be
any
confusing.
information that one of us has, all 4 of us should have, all 5 of us should have.
And that's fine, I just didn't realize that
Maybe Penny
I
sends
was
it to
remiss
you.
on the process.
Bob asked me to send this regarding 6F.
Yeah. That's all.
Or just copy us when she emails it back to you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, I
We
don't
get
always
it.
get,
Whether we
sometimes
get
I
it or
call
don't
and
get
she
it.
just tells me on the phone, so,
Oh, that's cool then too.
but that's fine.
Or whatever you get emailed, have it hit the desk when we're looking at it all, when we open the agenda item. That's
I
just-
don't have an issue. So in terms of protocol.
As long as I can forward it to you, then that's it, that's
Yeah,
my main
so
question.
This is
because-
what I'll say. In terms of protocol, sharing information, in my mind, is appropriate.
Okay.
Should be done.
That's fine, and I don't
We
have a
should
problem
not
with that.
be having conversations based on the merit via email copying each other.
I
But
don't-
we should be sharing information.
Okay.
So we need to be sharing information.
I'd rather get it at the meeting than whatever you get.
No, I want to get it ahead of time. I want to get it
I
when
would
you
like
get
it
it.
ahead of time, and you should also make sure that staff
Yeah.
knows that this is.
You're all gonna get the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
we're all going to get the same thing.
I'm not
So
gonna.
we're all gonna get it ahead of time. Sorry, don't open it.
If one commissioner asks for it, 5 commissioners ask for it.
And that's
the
what I want to
message.
know the
Yeah,
answer
That's the
to.
message.
Yep.
But, I mean, some of it, I might have to explain at some point.
It's okay, we get it. We get this whole thing. It needs explanation. It's fine.
That's what the meeting's for, right? To discuss.
Yeah, but some of it needs
It'll
to
just be-
settle just a
No,
little.
it'd be crazy Bob question 1. I'm sorry,
No, I-
Bob crazy question 1. Sorry, I put the qualifier in the wrong
I
place.
No crazy
I was
question.
thinking I was a little bit past crazy. Lunatic, maniac.
Very detailed. It's appreciated. And
I
everybody
like
who gets up there should appreciate.
To see the whole
how hard
picture, I
you
mean,
work.
I'm trying to work in their favor, but
Yes.
sometimes the
Your
numbers.
impeller's a little warped.
Didn't know we were going.
I'm trying to.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm not very nautical, but I'll live with that.
No, I don't think so at all. You care or you don't, you really care.
All right, so that's it for new business.
Okay.
We're now on to item 10. I'm
Sorry, I
adjusting
took
the
more than 30
misnumbering of
seconds.
the
Oh, you pushed it.
agenda, executive session. So, we are about to go into executive session to discuss potential litigation. So we ask Channel 79 to cut off the feed, and we are going to ask our court reporter to step out. We promised both Channel 79 and our reporter that the only thing we will do when we come back to the regular meeting is adjourn, and Darren will